Makanga, a locality in Muyuka subdivision of the Fako in the southwest region of Cameroon, at the center of this edition of the primetime news on Equinoxe television, live from Cameroon's economic capital city, Douala. The southwest governor Bernard Okalia Bilai is warning and threatening he is ready to do all within his powers to track down those responsible for the act that has been widely condemned by Cameroonians at home and abroad. Meantime, the Cameroon patriotic diaspora on its part is condemning those who did that which is widely condemned in the southwest region of Cameroon, but holding the government of Cameroon responsible for what they call irresponsible attitude vis-a-vis the Anglophone crisis. We'll tell you more on these stories and others in this edition of the news. You are on to the primetime newscast on Equinoxe television. We are live from Cameroon's economic capital city, Douala. Equinoxe Central News Desk. Even though the international and national community has condemned the brutal killing of a lady in her early 30s in Moyoka in the Fako of the southwest region of Cameroon, the individuals are yet to be clearly identified. Why he was killed is yet unknown by Cameroonians home and abroad. In the following reports, Manjikangebe takes us to a follow-up of the incident after another video came in the late hours of yesterday, allegedly portraying reasons why the lady was assassinated. His report.
Hours after the horrible image of her killing went viral on social media, followed by the condemnation from top officials, political leaders, and civil society actors across the globe, another video of the woman who was killed at Makanga quarters in Muyuka subdivision has surfaced. In the video that has been circulating on social media, the woman was answering to questions asked by her killers because she was close to the military. Asked why she was close to the military, the girl said, "I told them that I don't like them because they are keeping my brother. If it wasn't by the grace of God, he would have been killed." According to her, the said military officer she was going to see had a different intention. The man was asking me to be his concubine and nothing else. And she added, "When I went there, I told him I can never come again because when someone goes close to the military, the person is considered as a black leg." Notwithstanding the cause that must have led to her brutal murder, which has been condemned by all, inhabitants of Makanga quarters in Moyoka subdivision have been in the bushes since morning. Reason being that a military raid has been going on after the murder of the young woman. Several persons, sources say, have been arrested as houses were forcefully broken into at Makanga quarters.
And shortly after the incident in Makanga, killings have not stopped in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon, even after rights groups' condemnation, opinion leaders' condemnations, political condemnations of the incidents from Cameroon within and out of the country. Information gotten by Equinoxe television news desk is that Ismail, popularly known as Ila, a footballer of the Binka Red Devils in the Donga Mountain Division of the northwest region of Cameroon, got assassinated last night by yet to be identified individuals. He was killed in a locality known as Mayo Binka, and his commercial motorbike taken away to an undisclosed destination. He is just one among many others who have been killed in a recent waves of killings in the Anglophone regions of Cameroon. The count so far leaves at least 6 persons that have been killed in less than 2 weeks in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon, adding to thousands others killed within the armed conflict since it escalated in early 2017. Meantime, the governor of the southwest region, Bernard Okalia Bilai has called on organizations, both international, national, public as well as private, operating in the southwest regions of Cameroon to join efforts in order to stop the series of killings. Citing the case of Makanga in Muyoka subdivision, Bernard Okalia Bilai urged stakeholders in the southwest region of Cameroon to stop that from continuing. He was speaking in the presence of our southwest regional correspondent, Derek Jato.
Disturbing. She will be murdered on camera.
That we women sit and we see a woman being murdered in a horrific manner. It's unbearable.
And everyone is on it. The war in the Anglophone region has been going on for 4 years now, and everywhere still seem unsafe. Bernard Okalia Bilai, governor of the Southwest region, on his part, convened this crisis meeting in his office. The lone agenda, the Muyoka murder case. The separatist fighters are held responsible.
To meet those who are giving orders from abroad, and even amongst us, they are now ashamed with law, with family problem. What family problem? They say, and the messages are there. They are claiming. Let them assume.
But for how long will this continue? The civil society, the judiciary, the security forces, the media, the United Nations agencies operating in the Southwest region, and the administration of the region want answers.
I'm happy that all of you are looking in the same direction. I want all of us here to say something. And if there is one man who's not condemning this act here, let him raise his hand.
The world is watching, and together such barbaric acts can be stopped, they all agreed.
I know the IG has disclaimed that they are not the ones. And I ask, then who is? Who is?
This is the time for sincerity, and for those engineering such acts will surely pay, either now or later.
Human rights violations are documented, and whether they like it or not, one day they shall face the wrath of justice, whether in this country or at the level of the International Criminal Court.
Killings cannot be normalized. Southwest Governor charged all to take action.
We are looking in the same direction. I want all of us here to say something.
Shocking, right? And everyone is on it. The incident in Muyoka, it was sad enough, and of course the brutal and gruesome killing left nobody untouched, both in Cameroon and out of Cameroon. And the Cameroon patriotic diaspora could not be silent at a time when Cameroonians went crying, shedding tears, and asking how many people must be killed for the armed conflict in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon to come to an end. Speaking on behalf of the Cameroon Patriotic Diaspora, Dr. Ewane Eta from Germany says it is condemnable, the act, but all this is partly as a result of what he qualifies as an irresponsible attitude of the government of Cameroon, the approach towards the armed conflict in the northwest and southwest regions. Listen to him in the following extract.
The Cameroon Patriotic Diaspora shares with the populations of Muyoka in the southwest region of Cameroon the feelings of revulsion, horror, and shock over the brutal killing of 35-year-old B. Blanche. We at the CPD are terribly horrified and totally disgusted by the open and barbaric execution of a civilian on Tuesday, the 11th of August 2020 in Muyoka. This is an unacceptable crime. Any attack on armed civilians is unlawful and contrary to the international conventions to which Cameroon is signatory. We express our deepest sympathies and sorrow to the bereaved family, and most especially to the young children left behind by this lady. The CPD firmly condemns all forms of violence, and in this we make no distinction. Violence is completely wrong, no matter who engages in it. As a human community, we must be vigilant and careful to oppose these pernicious and shameless evils which are not justified by any sane logic. We call for the arrest and prosecution of all persons involved in the murder of Miss Blanche B. Following the barbaric assassination of B. Blanche, the Cameroon Patriotic Diaspora reiterates its demand for a global and thorough investigation into all cases of human rights violations that have occurred since October 2017 in the Northwest and Southwest regions, and the prosecution of all the perpetrators and their sponsors. That no military solution to the crisis in the Northwest and Southwest is sustainable, and that the regime's stubbornness in this bloody path nurtures the crimes and atrocities of the army and armed groups against the civilian populations. Its request for a genuine and inclusive national dialogue, including the separatist movements, to find a negotiated settlement to the crisis in the Northwest and Southwest regions.
That was Dr. Itai Wane speaking for the Cameroon Patriotic Diaspora, and we remind you that the government of Cameroon has also reacted following the incident in Moyoka in a communique made public by Cameroon's Minister of Communication and Government spokesperson Rene Manuel Sadi. The government of Cameroon regrets and also recounts a series of killings that have so far taken place in just less than 2 weeks in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. We shall be coming back detailedly to the communique of the government of Cameroon. However, some lines of the communique read even before the start of the news indicates that the government is determined to continue with the plan to reconstruct and develop the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. But the Anglophone crisis has not only does not only has the face we are seeing now, with people killed brutally in different parts of the regions. There's also a mass displacement of people who've left their villages and are now residing in different areas. A case in point is Bamenda chief town of the northwest region of Cameroon, where several children who were rendered homeless fled their villages and are hosted or are now being hosted by orphanages and some well-wishers in the northwest regional chief town. Bamenda Mbostela tells us more from the northwest.
These girls and the boy are not the only at this orphanage in Bamenda. They are amongst 123 others between the ages of 2 and 3.
The purpose of this orphanage is to alleviate suffering and poverty in the life of children.
The prolonged socio-political and security crisis in the English-speaking regions of Cameroon, the coronavirus pandemic and other emergencies create a situation that keep the numbers rising.
Here, we take care of total orphans, half orphans, and some few that have both parents, but they were really needy.
A report by UNICEF published on April 20, 2020 indicates that over 2 million children remain in need of urgent humanitarian assistance as a consequence of violence, conflicts, epidemics and pandemics. Most of these children find refuge in orphanages.
Yeah, there are so many challenges, like even in the sector of the tailoring. We lack machines. There are many of them. Then in the educational sector, we also have challenges. Like at times we lack textbooks, even space for them to sleep at night is also really they're choked up.
Value Health Africa, a non-governmental organization, is bridging the gap. They are assisting orphanages in Bamenda with hand washing stations and food items. For the NGO and her partners, this gesture is not enough but want people to come to the aid of these children.
Where they are, which is an orphanage, a lot has to be done. Because most often these aids end at the level of maybe the towns, and a lot has to be done as far as the orphanage is concerned. And that is why we are here today, so that we can start up by sensitizing those children and giving them what we have.
Among the children at the Mispa orphanage, one of the orphanages visited by the NGO, are 3 former youth parliamentarians. Like every child growing up, they have dreams. Obamadian Alida leads a choir at the orphanage and is passionate about becoming a magistrate.
Nowadays, I've seen that the poor are being maltreated because of some certain things, because they don't have the money to finance their cases in the court. So throughout this, they can cover up them. The rich can cover up them by getting their property. So I make up my mind that if they will not pass me by without trying to solve a problem around me, like for instance, if I'm passing by and I see my junior sisters, like they're quarreling, they're fighting, I'll try to go and ask them, what is the problem? Why are people fighting? Why are people quarreling? And through that, I know solving the problem is already building me up, that I'll be able to sit one day to solve the problem of others.
As the children sing and dance, it is a regular activity whenever they receive visitors, as the gifts they bring is a relief to them, even if it is for a while.
And within the challenging context affecting almost every family in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon, Anglophone elites and Anglophone members of government are still being trusted and, of course, given positions of responsibility by the government. A recent case in point is the appointment of an Anglophone, Churchill Monono, who was appointed yesterday by President Paul Biya as Cameroon's ambassador to the Republic of Ethiopia. Our correspondent in the southwest region of Cameroon visited the residence at Great Sopoboya and learned that Churchill Monono is the first Fako elite to be named an ambassador. More in his report.
The atmosphere at the residence of His Excellency Churchill Monono, Cameroon's ambassador to the Republic of Ethiopia, minutes after his appointment was made known to the world.
And this evening we are celebrating to thank the head of state, President Paul Biya, for honoring us.
We know that he's going to deliver the goods and we can count on him. We are so happy. You can hear the celebrations in the background.
The euphoria is total as the Fako people celebrate their first child to be made an ambassador. And to Barrister John Kamani, President Paul Biya's choice was based on merit.
He's worked in the embassies in Ethiopia and in Russia. That's to show that he is somebody who is well found and grounded in diplomacy. I think Cameroon will benefit from his presence in Ethiopia, taking into consideration the fact that he's the heartbeat of African diplomacy.
And his great support people of Buea subdivision promised to go down on their knees and pray for their son for God's guidance, protection and wisdom.
To the Almighty God, that He will lead him through so that successes will continue to follow on the.
Even if I was angry, this has been the most happiest day I've had.
This as a whole is very grateful.
Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, being the continent's diplomatic center, this fine Pan-Africanist, Ambassador Churchill Monono, will therefore carry on his shoulders the bilateral ties between Yaoundé and Addis Ababa on the one hand, and Cameroon and the African Union on the other. Before his appointment as Cameroon ambassador to the Republic of Ethiopia, His Excellency Churchill Monono was the technical advisor at the Cameroon's presidency.
And at least 2 persons have been arrested in Yaoundé. They were amongst some KPM holders who were protesting recently in the premises of the Ministry of Basic Education. They want the government of Cameroon to get them into the public service. According to the protesting KPM holders who trained teachers in Cameroon, they were unjustly sidelined from the recent recruitment of teachers into the public service, that is to teach in the basic educational sector. Immaculate Fogwe tells us more in the following report.
Basic education teachers in the political capital Yaoundé have once more staged a protest action in front of the Ministry of Basic Education. The strike action, termed Hunger Strike, is taking place after several failed attempts to meet up with Prime Minister Chief Joseph John Gote. They are protesting against the recruitment of 3,000 KPM holders with little experience.
The cry don't be now since the cry don't start now. We don't the cry since may government do something about it. Problem there inside our ministry. The big problem we didn't say some list be just come out of recent for May 2020 on the 27th. This list shows that they don't take people they made it work. But some of we will be ready for work the work. We see there for outside they no touch we. We dey for outside, so they were people they come out for school for 2009, 2008, 2010, 11, 12. They sit there for outside. They don't want to take people there for 2018 put them for work.
They are demanding that the last recruitment results be cancelled and a new list be published respecting the criteria of recruitment.
We are crying and saying this will be come out. The government cancel and all. It's sitting where if you do them. It start follow list. It follow people they correct. May they work so that peace could go for the country and all things could work out fine. What problem? The money time we dey for here. We don't come for here. We know they go no place. I say we know they go no place. We dey remain for here. See, na die come move for here. Or if you come over here when solution could dey.
These teachers are calling on competent authorities to cancel the last recruitment, which they say was marred by irregularities.
And we take on this note before we go to the second part of news to say that police in Ivory Coast have fired tear gas as opposition supporters protesting against President Alassane Ouattara's decision to run for a third term in office. Demonstrators defied a ban on protests, erecting barricades and burning tires in the commercial capital Abidjan and elsewhere. At least 2 people are reported to have been killed during clashes on Wednesday between the opposition and supporters of the ruling party in Ivory Coast. Monsieur Ouattara, or Mr. Alassane Ouattara, President of Cote d'Ivoire, decided to run against to run again after his party's nominated successor and candidate, Prime Minister Amadou Gon Coulibaly, died unexpectedly last month. Ladies and gentlemen, we are done with the first part of news. Coming up is Talking Point. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us on Talking Points. We are receiving Joe Waters. He is the deputy communications person of the Popular Action Political Party, PAP, party in Cameroon. Joe Waters, thanks for accepting our invitation.
Thank you very much for associating the Popular Action Party into your English news this evening. I want to say good evening to those who are in the Northwest and in the Southwest, especially those who are in the war-torn zone like Kuna, Kwakwa, Menji, Bafut, Bu, Fundong, and Bafanji. These are areas where there are gunshots every day. And my 4, in Bamenda, in the Northwest region, where a teacher was beheaded simply because he was going for a GC, advanced level, ordinary level preparations.
Places you've cited are where one can say hotspot in these regions.
Yeah, exactly. You know that when this crisis escalated since 2016, it was because of the bad faith of the government that people are slaughtered without any iota of peace in the Northwest and the Southwest, because the government of Mr. Biya is irresponsible to resolve the crisis, and the stand of the Popular Action Party has been to resume a genuine and inclusive dialogue with the separatist leaders and the fighters on ground zero, amnesty to those who are in the diaspora involved.
Why do you blame the government in the case of where people are slaughtered? Is it the government, or do you mean to say the government forces are the ones who are responsible for the killings?
The government of Mr. Biya is irresponsible. Reason number 1, in 1961, 60% of Anglophones in the plebiscite voted for federation, while 60% voted for separation. And now, at the current moment that I'm speaking, 70% are for secession because of the bad faith of the government, and 30% are for federation. And you will understand.
You've not got the statistics to show that anywhere.
The Popular Action Party has the statistics, and if you need the statistics, we'll present you. And you have to understand that because of the bad faith of the government, they initiated a fake National Commission for Demobilization, Disarmament and Reintegration Commission that failed. They initiated the Reconstruction Commission that is going on that failed.
We go gradually. The DDR, you are actually outlining what, according to you, should be qualified or should justify the statement that the government has got bad faith vis-a-vis the Anglophone crisis. And you go at the same time talking about measures so far taken by that same government, the DDR. It's actually
the Bilingualism Commission,
the Bilingualism,
the Reconstruction Commission.
They are actually working on
Young's 9 months into the government yielded no fruit. And we have John Gute that went to the Northwest and Southwest, and his minister went to France and said that the form of the state is not negotiable, while his head of government is in the Northwest and in the Southwest, which justifies still the bad faith. When the crisis started, the separate leaders, the fighters on Ground Zero, spoke about independence. The government brought decentralization. When we went to the Grand National Dialogue, they spoke about special status. We brought forth the issue of federation. They arrested federalists and locked them up. After that, they went ahead now to talk about negotiation. Now we are for negotiation, but they are talking about reconstruction. Those are the facts that I'm presenting here that justify the bad faith of the government. And all these fake commissions that are created are not solved at this moment. And since the beginning of this crisis, the Popular Action Party has been standing for a genuine dialogue with separatist leaders involved, fighters on Ground Zero involved, and then amnesty granted to those in the diaspora, and all the Anglophone detainees in connection with the crisis released in Yaoundé Principal Prison, Yaoundé Central Prison, Bamenda Central Prison, and Boya Central Prison.
That is what the Popular Action Party believes should be.
Not that we believe, we think that is the gateway that go out of the Anglophone crisis because of the bad faith of the government.
And people and the Popular Action Party is a political party, just like the party which is at the helm of Cameroon, the CPTM, and the CPTM officials say they've got a formula which, according to them, will rightly resolve the Anglophone crisis. Government officials have repeatedly said the government is on negotiations. The government is actually consulting these people. We've had a few weeks ago, or a month ago, also we've had information of some sort of talks between the government and detained separatists.
We do no longer trust the government of the Republic of Cameroon because the elites of the Northwest and the Southwest region have failed since the beginning of the crisis because they were sent on mission and their reports are negative. Let me first of all start by telling you that when this crisis started, Yang was already close to 9 years in power. Yang 1 up to Yang 9. Nothing changed. Then came a situation where we can initiate a dialogue. But you have to remember here that the government of the Republic of Cameroon do not have people who really represent them. Our recent release that we have done in the Popular Action Party about the woman that was beheaded in Moyuka, with a child that was thrown into hot oil in a condo in 2018, with pastor that was beheaded in Batibo, with a teacher that was beheaded in Maifong and his bike abandoned under the Maifong bridge, with a 6-month-old child that was killed in Moyuka. These are just facts. Today, before coming here, 2 children were mistakenly killed by the military instead of the Ground Zero fighters this evening. All those extrajudicial killings, we condemn them, and we ask for the government of the Republic of Cameroon to initiate a genuine dialogue and inclusive.
Are the facts you are stating, are they coming from you as Showwaters or from the Popular Action Party?
The Popular Action Party has a base of facts of what is happening on Ground Zero, and of course in the Northwest and the Southwest. And remember that the separatist leaders and the Ground Zero fighters are asking for the restoration of the former British Southern Cameroon, and I say 70% of them because of the bad faith of the government and are asking. But majority of the Anglophones, let me tell you, 90% wants federation, but because of the bad faith, 70% are for separation. And I told you the case of 1961.
I said that is what you say anyway, because we've not had the statistics. You might have it at the level of the Popular Action Party, but we don't know the mechanism through which you use to measure the number of Anglophones who are for separation, those for federation, those for confederation, and those who want Cameroon as it is today. Actually, you've got your facts which are yet to be made known to the public. You've not published anything at the level of your party to show the measurement. We don't know where you went for to get that statistic.
But there is one fact that was presented at the Grand National Dialogue. Before the Grand National Dialogue, President Cardinal Toumé sent a document of 400 pages to the presidency, and that document had already clear-lined, and the document explained clearly, explicitly and implicitly the percentage of federation, secession and unity up to date. And that document has never been presented to the public. So those are the percentages that President Cardinal Toumé sent to the presidency. We have our own facts that we present to the media.
The facts of the Popular Action Party, are they based on the study?
The mechanism, since you want to do the methodology, we have our militants are on ground zero, if you want it, the former state of the British Southern Cameroon in the north and the southwest, that they do daily report. And we infiltrate the zones, and we produce reports at our own level. We come to the media and we say what we know.
You get to interview Anglophones. I am an Anglophone.
We are in contact with the population.
And I've never been contacted by any official of your party to ask if I'm for separation, I am for federation or for confederation. That's just to say that there are so many other Anglophones that probably you've not reached out to who will have.
We have reached out. That's why I'm giving you the statistics that up to this level, 90% of Anglophones are for federation because of the bad faith of the government. 7 are for secession.
I was just trying to raise the fact that there are so many other persons you've not contacted. Taking myself as an example,
we've contacted all. We have militants on ground zero. I'm not speaking here with water in my mouth.
Probably excluding me.
You are a Southern Cameroonian, or you are an Anglophone. Do you know there's a difference between Southern Cameroon and Anglophone? Anglophones are those who are speaking English. Southern Cameroonians are the indigenes, where the state is declared by international treaty. So you should not say you are not a Southern Cameroonian.
You've not gotten me. Actually, we are talking about the mechanism you use, because you are stating on the media, after having carried out such studies, you release, and of course people follow the mechanism so they can be able to know. A whole document was forwarded by President Cardinal Toumé to key stakeholders in Cameroon, and of course they launched a study online, and it was seen. People went there to vote. So if that statement came from President Cardinal Toumé, the arguments and the questions to him will be different as of now. But now I wanted you to be clear enough, to be precise enough on when you say the government is irresponsible, and at the same time you are outlining measures and initiatives taken by that same government to resolve the crisis,
which were fake. The measures were fake. Fake bilingualism commission, fake DDR, demobilization, reintegration, disarmament commission. Somebody was disarmed in Womb, in the Menchum division, and the next day he was killed and slaughtered and thrown into the bush in Womb. In front of the governor, he deposited his arms in front of the governor. The next day he was killed and dumped in the bush.
Is that what makes it fake?
It makes it fake because it didn't work. When you are turning around the same spot, listen. When gold get rust, what will happen to iron? So I mean here that the DDR, bilingualism, young star to the northwest, this current prime minister in north and southwest are yielding no fruit. Reconstruction commission, the credibility of those heading the commission is another problem, because Paul Tasson is from Libialem. When he goes to Libialem, he does not go to Wabane Alo and Menji. He goes to Bafu and the west region, where he organized matches and snap images and present to the president of the republic that he was in Libialem while he is just at the frontier. And when they take those photos, they hide those of the military because the zone is heavily militarized and he was attacked. When you take Donatus Njong from Kumbu, he resigned after 721 years in Kumbu Council because of pressures from the separatists, and you said he's credible for the reconstruction. It's not possible.
It wasn't.
I'm just giving you facts to show that the government has bad faith
No, you have to be consistent and also be very concise when you are outlining this point. Let's stay with the DDR commission. Actually, you talk about how it is fake. Somebody will think that it was just created, and in the field you don't find it there. Whereas you have the DDR headquarters in Buea for the southwest, you have one in northwest in Bamenda for the northwest region, and the actually people there, some other people who've deposited their arms and they're present. That doesn't make it fake anyway. It might not be very efficient in resolving the crisis. You talk about the reconstruction and developments. That's the presidential plan for the reconstruction and developments of the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. You say it's fake. It actually exists. There are people at the head of this commission who went to these regions, northwest and southwest regions. Paul Tasson and John Donatus actually traveled to the northwest, spent 5 days in Bamenda and
where did they go
southwest.
To? They ended at the regional headquarters.
Regional headquarters.
Did they go to Wom? Did they go to Kumbo? Did they go to Fundong? Did they go to Batibo? Did they go to Bali? They ended in the regional headquarters.
They said it was the aim was to sensitize these people, to talk with stakeholders.
Listen, I want
probably at that stage.
I want to be sincere here. People cannot sit in a peaceful area and back up a reconstruction plan in a war torn. It does not exist anywhere in the world. I want to take the example of Nigeria. 6th of July 1966, the Biafra War started, and 15th of January 1970, General Ojukwu took up his 2 hands and pen, wrote a speech of reconciliation with the state of Nigeria. Remember that by then, General Charles de Gaulle, who was the president of France, asked Ahidjo to secede the state of Biafra and Federal Republic of Nigeria. Ahidjo refused, and he was voted out, and Mr. Biya came in. Today, the same France is standing with Cameroon to lead a negotiation, or maybe a federated state, or maybe a decentralization, effective decentralization. Why the Northwesterners want federation? I've told you that we have to. The special status is first of all empty because it does not correspond to the Anglophone culture. Indirect role through the chiefs.
Yeah, my brother, the fact that the Ahidjo was voted by France, as you claim, and Biya came in, also is another outrageous statement, and probably we still need facts from you, points enough from you to justify that, and we've not learned that in any of the history so far presented to us in Cameroon. Now, we want to advance. You talk about the fact that Paul Tasson and John Donatus, they are not credible. I want to know. I want you to tell me of something else, and you go to talk about the fact that they can't go to their
they can't go back to their villages.
Is that what is that one?
Even if they have to do it is in armor cars. What is that a good image for people who wants to back up a reconstruction plan?
These plans are not meant for Kumbu in the Bui. This plan is not meant for Libialem or Wabane in Libialem. It is for the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. It must not anywhere start from the.
But when you recruit a bad teacher in a school, what do you expect the outcome from?
What do you mean
students?
A bad teacher?
A bad teacher because they are not credible. Elites have failed us. Elites of the northwest and southwest have failed us. They were
not choosing. They were not choosing based on their ability to be able to go to their villages. They were chosen on what they can be able to offer vis-a-vis reconstruction and development. John Donatus succeeded in transforming Kumbu. Paul Tasson, you know what he works, where he is in the Ministry of Economic and Regional Development. So these are experts in the field of in the field of development. If I don't want to talk about reconstruction, so they've been given the task to reconstruct.
Because they are from the CBDM and they want to back up their positions of appointments and promotion, they have to file in a positive report to the President of the Republic, which is a negative report to the Northwesterners and to the Southwesterners. And I still stand here today before we end to say that the people that they have sent as elite from the North and Southwest are not credible enough. We want a genuine and inclusive dialogue with separatist leaders, ground zero fighters, amnesty to those are the diasporas, release of those who are detained in connection with the Anglophone crisis in all the prisons in Cameroon, and refugees brought back, because the case is becoming a yardstick.
That is the declaration of the Popular Action Party, and of course it's been made public. I believe our stakeholders will have that is a reading of the declaration of your party on the way out of the armed conflict. Thanks very much for accepting to have a chat with us this evening.
It was a pleasure, and we are opinion leaders and we stand for the truth. so that peace should come by the northwest and the southwest. A lot of human slaughtering and beheading, and we don't want to see that again.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks very much for your kind attention. Stay with Equinoxe Television. Interesting program.